What's good, YouTube? We've been having fun with the hot topics and the rebuilding. I'm just gonna give you all an NBA analysis early in the morning, 12 o'clock over here in Wisconsin. Let's just talk about something that people hate, people love, people and dislike. We all got mixed feelings, and that's how we supposed to feel because we all got our own upbringing and we all got our own beliefs. So I want to talk about the three-peat. I'm a Kevin Durant guy. I'm a Kawhi guy. I'm a Celtics fan, but the Celtics are a team that's looking to contend for that championship against Golden State next year. But let's take a dive in and look at how the Warriors potentially can three-peat. Obviously, I won't go all over the place and get to the point at the end, but let's go into the season as of right now as the rosters are constructed. We're going into the NBA draft next week. Pivotal part of the NBA, getting young players. A lot of trades is going to happen. We might see some big names like Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler, Paul George. They all got moved. Kyrie got moved before the season started. And team players are still teaming up. Players are still trying to win. Obviously, they got a four-headed monster out there in Golden State, but they did show humility. They showed that they was human this year, and they went seven with Houston without Chris Paul. But even when they had Chris Paul, they was down 3-2, so they actually was trailing the series. They had Kevin Durant had injuries, multiple injuries throughout the year. Steph Curry had injuries. Clay got injured. In the NBA Finals, Iguodala's getting older. Kevin Durant wasn't as dominant and as efficient as he usually be. Um, Even in the finals, he had a couple bad games. Steph had a terrible game in the finals. Obviously, they can still out talent you. Obviously, they can still outshoot you in one quarter. That's the good thing. But we're starting to see other teams branch off and get these wings, like a Houston, like a Boston, and Boston gets Kyrie back. They get Gordon back. They have the coach. They have the talent. They have the stars. They have the guys that can take over. They have the length and size to match up and switch against Golden State. Houston has Chris Paul. He has been injured a lot, and you can say the same thing for Kyrie Irving. We don't know where LeBron is going to go. If he goes to Philly, I don't really care what people say. I said the same thing about Chris Paul. Great players figure it out. Even Paul George, did he have his best season? No, but he still was an All-Star and an All-NBA third-team player, which he was the same thing in Indiana, and he went to the West, even though it was an injury replacement, but the All-NBA third team solidified that he's still one of the best players in the league. So it's going to be tougher. You getting older, you're declining, and the fact that teams know who you are, they don't have that much wiggle room. Klay Thompson is going to have to take a significant pay cut. Same with Draymond Green next year. Kevin Durant, he going to have to sacrifice again because of Steph Curry getting that max extension with the team last year. Kevin Durant took a basically 10 to 12 to $15 million pay cut just to keep this team intact. And Klay Thompson is going to have to sacrifice. And if they want to keep Draymond Green, he's going to have to do the same thing significantly. So this team don't go into the luxury tax, and they're already there, but they have to pay even more money depending on how far they're over the tax. So it's gonna take a lot of sacrifice. I tell it to my girlfriend all the time. It's gonna take a lot of sacrifice for this team to continue to win. And we, like I said, we done seen them get pushed. Obviously, in the finals, there was a walkover series. LeBron didn't have any help, but the East has gotten tougher. Like I said, Detroit won 39 games. They look to be healthy. They look to come back better. You have teams still developing. Teams still could potentially get better on draft day. We still have free agency where players like Paul George can go to Houston, or he can go to Philly, or even LeBron can move. So we still have teams that can potentially become threats via trade or via free agency and really give this Golden State team, their complacency, their humility that they showed today. Can they continue to sacrifice but also stay humble, stay together? Shaq said once they won their first title, everybody was got their new outfits, everybody had their own businesses, everybody started focusing on winning. And Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, and all of the guys are saying it was harder this year. They had to focus more this year. They got pushed a little bit in that Houston series that showed them that they vulnerable. Steph Curry missed the first round, so injuries do happen, and that can put a dent in their dynasty. Just like Draymond missed Game 5, Iguodala missed majority of the Houston series. So and some of the Cavaliers here. So injuries do play a part. So there's not a guarantee that Golden State is going to walk in here and just win another championship. People said it was easy, but when you have that much talent and you have a great coach and they're this deep, but at the same time, people know what you are. People know how your players are going to play, and they're going to continue to build teams to be better than you. Boston and Philly are particular. They're younger teams, so eventually they're going to catch up to Golden State because Steph is 30, KD turning 30 by next season, and they're getting older. They in their prime, they still can dominate, but realistically, they showed that they potentially can be beat. If you go out there and get the right talent and have the right game plan and force them to defend, they can have struggles. And if you can get big with them and dominate them on the boards and have some good finisher, like the Pelicans, for example, they can give you trouble. And even though they lost in five, they didn't have DeMarcus Cousins. And I know the whole series will be totally different because it'll be a different player and a different type of style that they will have to play against. Is ways and vulnerabilities and weaknesses in beating this Warriors team. We just haven't seen teams be able to guard them for 48 minutes. We haven't seen teams lock in and really make them work for everything, really make them try to win. We see teams that can really slow down the pace and grind them out. It's not enough teams like that in the West. And on top of that, you have to beat out other teams, which help the Warriors too. Because if the Rockets don't get to the Western Conference Finals, they have to beat other teams to get there, which helps the Warriors too, because that's less good teams they have to play. And we also seen that they wasn't even the number one team in the NBA this year. It was the Houston Rockets. This is a team that came off the history of a 73 win team. In the next two seasons, they don't even win 70 games. So it just shows you how hard it is because of the injuries, because of the constant changing of the NBA, the constant movement. Even if free agency and the draft goes well, trades and free agency, you still got to think about we got the trade deadline. We still got the unrestricted free agents that get bought out. Like we seen that help Philly a lot with Marco Bellinelli and Ersan Ilyasova. We seen that help OKC out a little bit with Corey Brewer. So you still have the trade deadline to fix your roster and make more moves to push in on Golden State, because even Houston, they pick up Joe Johnson, they pick up Brandon Wright, they pick up these players because they're available around that time. And you already know Daryl Morey, he said he's obsessed with beating the Warriors. He took them to 7. That's as far as you can go as a losing effort. And the fact that he was able to trade for Chris Paul, gut majority of his bench away, and by the end of the season, he was able to get a lot of veterans to come and take pay cuts and bolster that bench. Even though they didn't play much of their bench, he still have some reasonable NBA talent on that bench, like a Gerald Green, like a Eric Gordon, like a Ryan Anderson. Did they play amazing? No, but they're still better than a lot of other players in this league. So it's a lot of talent. I've been telling you guys that for a while. Summer League is allowing you to see more talent. The G League is allowing you to see more talent. More players playing overseas. You still got the college players, and it is a wealth of talent now that is so easy to see and so easy to go out there and get. And that's why you see a team like the Rockets and a team like Philly be able to get quality starters or quality NBA players because there's so much talent in the NBA right now. And it's so easy to find a lot of these players because they're trying to make it to the NBA. But the Warriors, what they have to do, and I'm not a Warriors fan, but I am a Kevin Durant fan. So, as they go into a three-peat, we've seen them struggle a little bit throughout this run, but this year they was able to go to the finals and handle their business. But I will say that the sacrificing is the biggest thing. Continuing to know that this is a team first team. We have to take pay cuts like the San Antonios. We have to continue to trust the ball movement. We seen that in the playoffs, that a lot of times it was your turn, my turn. They wasn't moving the ball as much. They wasn't engaged for the whole 48 minutes. They let teams get up. They let teams get hot. They let teams beat them up a couple times. And we haven't really seen that out of Warriors team since 15. And obviously against OKC when they almost lost that series. So injuries happen, trades happen, and teams get adjusted. You start getting injuries, you start falling off, and teams catch up with you. So this dynasty, it is a dynasty because they won 3 out of 4, and they have potential to three-peat, which haven't been done since the Lakers. And they repeated. The last team to do it was the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and that dynasty didn't even last that long. They only won 2 championships, and that was it. Then he went to Cleveland. So that just show you that these dynasties, egos get in there, success get in there, wanting more getting in there, and people don't want to take the sacrifice to stay together because they want to go do their own thing. They want to get more money. They want to get more starting time so they can get the All Stars and the All NBA teams and potential MVPs. We've seen that with OKC. They had James Harden, they had Russell. Next thing you know, James Harden gone, Reggie Jackson gone, Perry Jones gone, KD gone, Serge Ibaka got traded before KD left. So it's hard to keep talent together, especially when other people are telling you he's no good, he's not good, he's the team, he's the best player. And we started seeing that with Steph. Who team? Who's the most important? Who's the best player? They're breaking up this team. They get into people ear. Well, obviously they hear it. Somebody in their circle know it, and that stuff do start making it seem like, okay, if I'm with Golden State, maybe I got to take a pay cut. Maybe I don't want to take a pay cut. Maybe I want to go. Like Klay Thompson, for example. Everybody in the NBA would damn near want Klay Thompson on their roster. Everybody say, "Hey, you didn't make the All NBA team. You barely an All Star." And he probably say, "Hey, I can go get a max from anywhere. I'm an unrestricted free agent. I can go get me a max deal, and I can get paid and prove that I'm the guy." Draymond Green, he got his role reduced even more because of Kevin Durant, and his defense has slipped, and he even admitted it. But he can be a guy to say, "Hey, I don't want to pay cut. I want to prove that I'm a Hall of Famer." Some people question, is he a Hall of Famer now? So you do have people talking, you do have people in your ear, and you do see more success coming on. Remember, Kobe and Shaq went to multiple finals, and Shaq and Kobe talked a couple months ago, and Kobe said, at the end of the day, I wanted to leave LA. I wanted to prove that I can be the man and win a championship. Shaq went to Miami because they wasn't gonna give him the max, but Kobe actually wanted to leave. He even said that he went to Chicago and was looking at houses with his wife, and they just came out of the NBA Finals. So that just lets you know. Remember, Kyrie, they went to 3 straight finals, and Kyrie said, "Hey, I want to get traded to go to Boston." And they were just in the NBA Finals for the last couple seasons. LeBron made it to the finals without Kyrie. And then they went to the finals and won one. And then they went last year and got beat in 5. And he left. And they went back to the finals. He could have been in the finals again. So remember, that is a big part of it. People want to prove themselves. People want the money. They want the more success. They want the more fame. And Steph Curry, he took a pay cut because of his injuries, but he got the max money he can get. Kevin Durant will not be able to do that. Klay Thompson will not be able to do that. Is they willing to consistently take that sacrifice? We've seen them slip defensively. We've seen them turn against each other a little bit offensively. It's a lot of things that goes on in those NBA locker rooms that we don't even know. And if they really want to win, they got to continue to do those little things to keep it together. But people also going to have to continue to sacrifice. Bench players are going to be gone because they're going to be over the luxury tax. So they're going to need the David Wests, but that's going to make them more older, and their defense is going to fall because of that. And they're going to be more thinned on the bench because Nick Young cannot be your small forward and shooting guard if you really sincerely trying to win a championship. That's why they end up paying Livingston. That's why they end up paying Iguodala. Iguodala had a significant injury, and he's only getting older, even though he played a lot more in the playoffs than he did in the regular season. That's just letting you know that he's going to have to continue to sacrifice, and when they need him, he's going to have to step up. But he didn't really look the same. He didn't really look as good as 2015, and he shouldn't because he's older. But they gave him a significant amount of money for the next couple years, which hurts them from getting other players on their bench. But it helped them because obviously he helped them win the last couple championships, so they wanted to give it back to him. And also, he played well. This year, he really didn't play that well. Like I said, Draymond Green took a pay cut the first time. It helped him get KD, but he has hurt it because of Kevin Durant. His numbers are down. His scoring is down. His impact, he's more just of a passer. He don't even look to get to the paint. He doesn't even look to score really. That's a sacrifice he had to make to continue to win championship, which is the reason why they doubled. And people even said that I don't even think we repeat without Kevin Durant. So that just lets you know that the NBA consistently catches up and the NBA is consistently evolving. So they had to beat that Houston team. They had to go out and get Kevin Durant because he closed that series against LeBron and them in Game 3, in Game 5. In those fourth quarters, Kevin Durant took over and dominated efficiently and consistently, they had no answer for him. And he really did stick out in these last two finals, even though he didn't really play that well this whole playoff run or in the finals. He still ended it with 50, 40, and 90 and 28 points a game. So that's not as good as last year finals, but I just let you know that you might not see Cleveland next year, but they got to the finals. They competed in a couple games and they got away from them. LeBron gonna be on to something new. He knows something that we don't know. They got there's a lot of team with some wiggle room and some talent already. If he goes to another roster, it's gonna be tough to beat them. Even though Golden State probably would be favored at this point, but we don't really know if he goes to Houston. We don't really know if he's gonna go to Philly. But like I said, Philly and Boston are already up and coming. Houston already proved that they can compete and play with them. You still got San Antonio. They didn't have Kawhi. They had them almost beat last year. They blew them out in Game 1 of the regular season. They blew them out in Game 1 of the postseason when they played each other in the Western Conference Finals. They might get better this offseason. DeJounte Murray was all defensive second team. Kawhi Leonard is one of the best defenders we have ever seen. And they only can get better at this point because they've won almost 50 games without Kawhi Leonard. Just imagine how much they would have won with them. And plus, they're going to have some cap this year to try to get another guy in there because some of their people come off. But they're going to have to continue. I give them credit finding players like JaVale that takes nothing, like Zaza taking nothing that can still be solid players, but also drafting people like Kevon Looney late in the draft, Patrick McCaw late in the draft. Quinn Cook was a good pickup for them too. Jordan Bell was a good pickup for them too. So they have been finding talent on the low. They have been finding talent on the cheap, and they have drafted well to get players that can come in and contribute when their number is called, whether it's from an injury or people needing rest. They have been able to find and utilize their late picks, and that's something that San Antonio did. And that's something that Houston started doing, is still evaluate talent in the G League, still evaluating talent in Summer League, and still evaluating talent worldwide, and even still taking drafting and scouting sincerely, because you do need to find those players for them cheap contracts to keep your big four intact, but they still have to be able to play and they still have to be able to contribute. So I don't think three-peating is going to be as easy as you guys think it is, or some other people think it is. They think Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, oh my God, they're never going to be beat. But all dynasties do come to an end. Injuries do happen, trades do happen, and free agency do happen. They're doing the little things right now, but can they consistently do that? Can they keep their egos intact? Can they keep their pride out of them? And can they continue to play team defense and team team friendly offense? And that's something that they slipped a little bit this year, is defensively and offensively and intensively. So we definitely gonna see what's gonna happen. I'm excited as a Celtics fan. I know there's other organizations that's waiting for the draft, other organizations that's waiting for free agency, and they ready to make their move at trying to dethrone the Warriors as the champions. Houston ready. Daryl Morey obsessed. My Celtics, we trying to get healthy. Kyrie and Gordon Hayward will be ready for training camp. So we ready to go at it. One game away from the NBA Finals. We match up good. We have the talent. We have the coach. We ready to throw them at them, and we younger. So let's go. It's all fun and games. The finals wasn't what we thought because LeBron carried the team that really wasn't that good. But next year he might have even more help, and it can be tougher for the Warriors to three-peat. So not very many teams have three-peated, and the Warriors are one of the teams that have an opportunity to do it. And it's going to be their toughest challenge because the NBA is only getting more talent, only getting more tougher. And honestly and truthfully, at the end of the day, that's how it should be as a professional sport. Everybody trying to compete for the championship, and the Warriors is the team right now to take down. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page in the comment section below, analysisplayground.com, and like on Facebook.